phone rang at 3 in the morning, cutting through the silence of William's penthouse office. As one of the country's most successful real estate moguls, he was accustomed to late-night calls about deals and contracts. But the voice on the other end wasn't his assistant or a business partner. "Mr. Harrison?" The voice was gentle but urgent. "This is Linda, a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. I'm calling about your daughter, Rebecca. She's been brought in. She was found unconscious on the street." William's world stopped. He hadn't spoken to Rebecca in over 2 years, not since their bitter argument about his expectations for her life. She had wanted to pursue social work. He had demanded she join the family business. The last words between them had been harsh, filled with disappointment and stubborn pride on both sides. "Is she?" William's voice caught in his throat. "She's stable now," Linda said softly. "But she's been living rough for some time. Malnutrition, exhaustion. Mr. Harrison, she had your business card in her pocket. It was the only identification we could find." 20 minutes later, William stood in the hospital corridor, his expensive suit feeling foreign and uncomfortable under the harsh fluorescent lights. Linda approached him with the quiet compassion that comes from years of delivering difficult news to frightened families. "She's been volunteering at the homeless shelter downtown," Linda explained as they walked toward Rebecca's room. "The director says she's been there every day for months, helping with meals, reading to children. She collapsed during her shift." William felt something crumble inside his chest. While he had been building his empire, his daughter had been giving her heart to people who had nothing. Through the window, he saw Rebecca, his little girl who used to fall asleep in his lap while he read her stories. She looked so small in the hospital bed, her face thin but peaceful. The expensive clothes he remembered were gone, replaced by simple worn garments that spoke of someone who had chosen meaning over money. "Can I?" William's voice was barely a whisper. "Of course," Linda said. "She's been drifting in and out. The doctor says hearing familiar voices can help." William sat beside the bed, taking his daughter's hand in his. It was rougher than he remembered, marked by honest work and service to others. The tears came then, years of regret and stubborn pride washing away. "Rebecca," he whispered. "I'm here, sweetheart. Daddy's here." Her eyes fluttered open, focusing slowly on his face. For a moment there was confusion, then recognition, then something William wasn't sure he deserved. Forgiveness. "Dad?" Her voice was weak but carried a warmth that took him back 20 years. "I'm so sorry," William said, the words tumbling out. "I was so focused on what I thought you should be. I never stopped to see who you really were. I was wrong, Rebecca. I was so very wrong." Rebecca squeezed his hand gently. "I missed you too, Dad." Over the next few days, as Rebecca recovered, William learned about the life his daughter had chosen. She had indeed been living simply, using her small savings to help others while volunteering at the shelter. She had found purpose and joy in service, something all his money had never been able to buy. "I wanted to make a difference," Rebecca explained as they sat together in the hospital garden. "Real change, one person at a time. It felt more important than boardroom meetings." William nodded, seeing his daughter clearly for perhaps the first time. What if we found a way to do both? What if the company could support what you're doing?" Rebecca's eyes lit up with a hope that reminded William of the little girl who used to dream of saving the world. 6 months later, William stood before the city council, his daughter beside him, proposing the largest affordable housing initiative the city had ever seen. The Harrison Foundation, headed by Rebecca, would not only provide homes but comprehensive support services for families transitioning out of homelessness. "My daughter taught me something valuable," William said, his voice steady and proud. "True success isn't measured by what we accumulate, but by what we're willing to give away." After the meeting, as they walked through the construction site of the first housing complex, Rebecca linked her arm through her father's. "You know what I realized in that hospital bed?" she said softly. "We both wanted the same thing, to make something meaningful with our lives. We just had different ideas about how to do it." William smiled, watching the sunset paint the sky in gentle colors. The phone call that had terrified him had become the beginning of the most important work of his life. And more precious than any deal he'd ever closed, it had brought his daughter home. Linda, the nurse who had made that midnight call, later received a handwritten note from William. Thank you for calling. You didn't just save my daughter that night. You saved our family.